What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and I need you to know we're living in House of Dynamite. this is uh this is one of the big awards players this year coming out on Netflix, and I finally get to talk about it. This movie is directed by Kathrine Bigelow. It stars a myriad of people. Notably, of course, people are going to point out the easy Rebecca Ferguson, Idris Elba. We've got Jared Harris. But I think Gabriel Basso really needs to be pointed out more because he's in quite a bit of the movie. Yeah, this is a deep cast, to the point where I would IMDb it if you don't know what IMDb.com, because I feel like I feel like if you go into the film, there are going to be people that you know that play these really small roles, and you won't be able to connect them. Even though you'll get the description, it would be helpful if you knew who was in this. It's not really a spoiler to know who's in this film, but for blind people, I think it would be cool, like if you know actors and actresses, to be able to line them up to the roles, so that way you can kind of picture these people who you've seen in other things in these roles, instead of later on thinking about it and be like, oh, was that person was in that role. I mean, you can do it afterwards either, but either way, because there were times where I was like, wait, who's that character, and I had to go back and like look at it. So it was like distracting me in the movie, because like I knew most of the cast, but then I'd be like, I don't know who's playing that person, and then I find myself like wanting to IMDb in the middle of the movie instead of paying attention to the movie. So because I was like, I need to know, because I know that this person is being played by an actor or an actress that I know, because this cast is ridiculously stacked. Like Tracy Letts, I love him. I heard somebody was trying to give him awards buzz for this. It's not happening. No one's getting a nomination out of this. The movie doesn't support any individual performance enough for anybody to get nominated here. It would make for a very interesting SAG Ensemble nomination, because it would acknowledge the fact that everyone was good, but no one individually can possibly be nominated for it. I could see that happening. It would also make for a really interesting casting nomination, because it's like no one here is bad. We do have that category this year, best casting, and nobody really knows what to expect from that. So if House of Dynamite is in play, I would actually think it could get that, because um, you can't really deny, and I don't want to say that best casting is always going to be the most stacked cast, but a lot of times, personally for me, when I list like best ensemble, right? I think of best casting as sort of like best ensemble the same way that SAG uses it. The way I interpreted it as is the most broad amount of performances in a film, where the ensemble works together. Oftentimes it's hard to pick just one. Oftentimes you have something. That's one way I vote. The other way I vote is a really small tight ensemble, something like Mass, where like all four people deserve equal recognition and they're never going to get it. So otherwise, I don't really pick the films where it's like, oh, there was one great performance in there, two great performances, and then the rest of them are just kind of supporting those two great performances. No, House of Dynamite is a film where everybody is of equal stance together. And this film does have audio description. I'm just now getting to that. International Digital Center. Written by Liz Gutman and narrated by Jamie Lemcheck. And this is a really excellent audio description track. It has a lot of really rich character descriptions, trying to pull us into what these people look like. And people that we're gonna get for just really short, brief spans of time. That's why I was saying, like, it helps if you know also who these people are, because then the description of the person, you can also tie it in. Like if you go into it knowing, then you can connect the person. If there was somebody who you're like, you know what, I've never really had a great description of Jared Harris before, or a great description of Moses Ingram before, these people, and then maybe you'll get one here, because there are some really great character descriptions when they have time. It's not going to be for every character. This movie kind of moves at a fairly fast pace. I was actually kind of amazed at the pacing. If I had to give Kathrine Bigelow props on anything, pacing would be it, because really everything is 20 minutes. Like, this whole thing is predicated on the fact that there is an attack on the US and we have 20 minutes. So you would think that the film is like an hour long because it's shot in like real time. And that's why I was like, how do we have a 2-hour movie out of 3 20-minute segments? And I don't know how that happened, but we did it. She made each segment feel like it was 20 minutes, but clearly it wasn't, because when you add it up, that's a whole hour. Like, there's a whole missing hour there. And I don't know how we finagled it in there, but we did. And I'm impressed by it. I know that's like 2 hours with credits, so it's like an hour 55, but still, that's a lot of time to make you feel like you just watched 3 real-time 20-minute segments. So, pacing is excellent. It's told from 3 different perspectives. So if you've heard anything about House of Dynamite, that's the thing that you've heard, is that it will retell you the same story 3 times from 3 different perspectives. That is true. You're going to hear some of the same lines repeated from somebody else's perspective. And so it bounces around. I believe the perspectives were Rebecca Ferguson, Gabriel Basso, and Idris Elba in order. I think those were the 3. Elba plays the president, which is cool. I mean, seems like a solid choice. I love that we have a British guy playing. We have a lot of Brits in here. The cast is very British. But yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but I kind of have to, because so many people are talking about the ending. And I know people want to know, like, did the ending bother you? Is it going to bother me? Is it going to, what is it what I like about the ending? Is it fine? Is it whatever? I have thoughts, and so I don't mind the fact that we don't know. I think at the end of the day, the one thing that I didn't like was we have, and I'm gonna try to keep this as spoiler free as possible. We have a character that shows up at, I would say, a place in Pennsylvania. I would have cut that, and then I would have left it. That's what I think is the more powerful move. But I feel like Kathrine didn't want to just leave it at that, because at just sort of like a true, that's where the movie ends. And I would have literally just blacked out and been like, House of Dynamite, and been like, wait, what? And the fact that there's this little tag of a scene that I don't really need, that's the thing that kind of bothered me, is it's like, I got this really great cake and it looks amazing, and then somebody came along and they put like a cupcake on top of the cake, and I'm like, it's already a cake. I don't really need that. Why is there a little cupcake on top of the bigger cake? I don't get it. I'm confused. And it's just like, you're adding one more thing that you feel like should be there, because cake is cake, right? Like, they mix together, so this is all part of the thing. It feels like it doesn't connect to the rest of the film. Also, because you've gone to extraordinary lengths to make it feel like it's like we're watching 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. There's a point where it just kind of feels like that's like the takeaway, like we're not going to tell you the ending, but infer from this as you will. I kind of like the multiple options, because in the third part with Idris, it kind of runs through the multiple options. That's kind of what the film is about, is all these different options that the president has in reaction to what is going on. But you aren't really sure what he does, because the film just kind of ends before he makes a firm decision on anything. So the possibilities are endless, but the repercussions of all of these situations. And it serves as like a warning, like to our current political climate, and really to just our nuclear armament in general, here and abroad. The fact that there's an arms race, the fact that we maintain nuclear stockpiles. So I don't think it needed it. I don't know why people are hating on this movie or bored by this movie. There's some people who just like, God, the movie didn't work at all. I just don't think it's a Best Picture winner. And that comes from a lot of like, where does it stand out to me the most? I think Kathrine Bigelow has made tensor films before. So, while I think this is a really good think piece and I'm intrigued by it, I don't think it's already not my favorite film of 2025, just having seen it. But it's also not my least favorite. Like, I did like the movie, but it's I don't know. This is kind of leading Netflix's campaign season, so I don't really know what's coming down the pike, and I don't want to say that House of Dynamite is going to be at the bottom of that list, but it may be. If this is the worst film that Netflix is putting out for their award season, they're going to have a great award season. But yeah, for me, this is just, I wouldn't really worry about giving this a picture nomination. Um, she's directed better things before. I can't see a standout performance. The screenplay is kind of interesting, the way that it works in its three-pronged way, and it wraps back around on itself, and you continue to give context to another thing. It almost would have worked better in like a limited series format where you see the same event play out. You have, a however many episode, you could have gone more episodes than this and then seen it play out, and you keep seeing the same sort of like 20 minutes play out over the course of a couple different episodes. It's a gimmick that could have worked even in a longer format. So the fact that it's structured well, and again, the pacing. So I guess if I had to praise it anywhere, it'd be screenplay and maybe like editing. But editing is even like, I don't know that I put in top 5, because again, I would have cut that last little piece. I know that's not really what editing is, but I can't help but think that somebody should have been like, is this the strongest ending that we have to the movie? So, I did like the audio description though. I think this film has really good audio description. I don't see it getting anything else. I wasn't really, the score didn't knock me off my feet. There's not like sound design. It's not a visual effects play. It's not a makeup play. Like, I don't know where it gets in. It's modern, so it's not going to get costume design or production design. At best, if it got into the race, it would be like picture screenplay and maybe the casting award, because nobody really knows how that's going to be, like what people are looking for in that category, or what people are judging that category by. So if I was Netflix, I would be pushing for it just because nobody knows really who's going to pick and who's going to vote and how that category is going to lay out. I would just go for it and see if they're voting for the broadest, most consistent ensemble, because House of Dynamite might be that. House of Dynamite might be the most evenly matched ensemble, where there isn't a bad performance, but there also isn't a standout performance. Like, everyone is so complementary to each other in this film, and that's the best thing that I can say about House of Dynamite, is how amazingly pitch perfect everyone is without ever standing out. There isn't like one performance where I was like, oh my god, Oscar moments. I didn't get chills from any one individual. Everybody complimented themselves, and considering the level of talent, it was nice to see more experienced people like Jared Harris and Idris Elba bringing along less experienced but rising stars like Gabriel Basso and Moses Ingram. And helping to boost their sort of profile. There's one scene that frustrated me, and it's only because like it's frustrating when as an audience member, when you know what's happening, and there's I guess again, I've given some spoilers, but not like a lot of spoilers. But there's, when they're bouncing around and they're trying to get all these people in on these phone calls, there's one analyst that they need who's like on her day off, and she took her kid to like a Civil War reenactment, so they're like people with like gunfire and cannons and stuff like that, and so it's really loud and noisy, and she like can't be bothered. She's like, what? I'm on my day off. And I'm like, girl, If you only knew, pay attention. I don't care that you're on your day off. I'm sorry. I don't care if your kid runs into the field and starts fighting with one of the armies in the Civil War. Does not matter. Listen to the phone call and hear what he's saying, and then process that in your head. I know it's really hard to try to multitask when you have your kid there, but the words that he's asking you should trouble you. And that would be maybe the one thing, other than the ending, that I was like, I don't know that this one scene fully works for me, but maybe there are people that are like that. And the sobering thing that many people have noted is you see this film and you feel like you see a whole bunch of competent people who are really taking this and they're trusting facts and they're trying to and they're using their intel and they're trying to, get through all of these countries and see what's happening in a very short window of time. And people are running to get to certain locations. And then you think about our current administration and you're just like, we're fucked. So, House of Dynamite, if House of Dynamite was directly reflective of our current administration, oh my God. It's not, though. So if you're worried this is some like woke nonsense that makes fun of it, no, it does not. It does not go after him at all. This tries to play it with like, what if we had a incredibly competent working government, functioning government? What would this look like? And so when you think that you have an incompetent government, that's even scarier, because the competent government seems to be having a hard time. So when the guy who's in charge of war is an analyst from Fox News, it's not really looking good for us. So I can't imagine the situation would work out very well for anyone. I liked House of Dynamite. I just didn't love it. So that being said, I'm going to give House of Dynamite a 7.7 out of 10. I think it's a strong film, but if I'm being honest, and I know, I think I like Detroit a little bit more. I know it didn't go anywhere for Kathrine Bigelow, but I remember watching Detroit and being a little bit more impressed immediately with that. With House of Dynamite, there are things that I like here, but I'm not immediately like, oh my God, I have to see that again. Whereas I would watch Detroit again. So, this is not going to be in my top of the year. But I think you should watch it. I think it's a very interesting piece on... I think some people will be white-knuckling it more than others as they think about, like, the what if of it all. Like, when you start transposing certain people in certain positions and you're like, okay, well, that person here is playing this role, but oh my God, in real life, it's this person. Oh, shit. Oh my God. You start hyperventilating. So... I get why some people are more scared by this movie and more troubled by it. But I tried to disassociate the two things because, again, it's not a direct reference to anything that's happening in our current White House. It's not trying to be... It's more, if anything, it's more of a commentary on nuclear armament than it is anything else. So, in general, broadly. So... thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.